in 2000, I was actually interviewing for a different job within the company, more planning. And there were two people in the interview. One was the planning guy, and then he just wanted a friend to be with him to help ask questions. Halfway through, the friend started taking over the questions. What about this? What about that? And before the day was done, the friend called me and said, you know, you interviewed for that job. How about this job? Working in the generating side of the company, which I had never done. Power prices, remember that horrible time when Enron went down and prices spiked to $200 a megawatt hour? And we were trying to figure out what can we do to get another generator on the ground to cover this shortage that we're having. So it brought me into the group, more desperate ignorance in that group. You know, where they said, Merrill, go find us a place in Oregon to put a power plant on the ground. And I'm going, I don't know what to do. And to top it off, I broke my leg tripping over the dog. But I went up to Oregon anyway and started trying to find places. We, our little group did amazing things, at least in my mind. We, in the course of a short time, yes, that year, we called up General Electric and we got some of their TM 2500s, trailer-mounted generators. Five semis would fit together, plug all together, you bring in the natural gas lines and light them up and get them permitted, and away they go. We built those in the parking lot of our company in about 2 months' time. Just get everything going, send them up. We built another full-time facility there beyond the parking lot. 3 generators. We built 5 out in West Valley City by the Frito-Lay factory. And that was a lot of stuff. That was $100 million worth of stuff. And then we got to build even more stuff. And we had just a department of maybe 6 guys. And we were building all these hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stuff. We got to build the Current Creek Power Plant, have my lovely Current Creek Power Plant hat. If you drive down south, you know, you get to Mona and you look across the valley at night, there's that kind of floating Disneyland lighted place. I was there. I had consultants and ran the study where we said up and down the Wasatch Front, where are we going to build this site? And we said, we'll build it here. I took my boss out there. It was nothing but desert. And I said, this is where we're going to build it. I said, you want to get out and walk around? And he looked out and he said, I'm not getting out of this car. And I said, well, why not? He said, look at the road. The road was crawling with Mormon crickets. He didn't even want to drive because they would push up his car. Anyway, we said, we'll build it here, we'll build it at this site. And spent $500 million doing that. I got to be involved from very first. Where do we put it? Paying the landowners. Where do we drill the wells?
Meeting with the town council.
Meeting with the town council. Out in the middle of, they called me out at 2 o'clock in the morning one night. Said, it's time, you gotta come out. So I get in the car and go out. It was minus 13 below. I get out there to this drilling rig. The drillers are all there. You know, these crusty guys. And he said, look at this batch of rocks. I'm going, cool. Look at this batch of rocks. These are what we pulled up from the drilling rig. And then they pulled out their magnifying glass and they said, if you look at these carefully, you'll see that part of the rocks are fractured, cut, and part of the rocks are rounded off as if a pebble or a rounded stream rock has been. And we know that since they're rounded off, we're in a zone where there's been alluvial fan, and that's where the water's going to be. So I said, book it around. Just stop here. You've gone far enough. Anyway, I got to do all kinds of cool stuff like that. So we built that plant. We built the lakeside plant. And then Ernie Westman called me in and said, we don't have anybody doing wind. Do you want to do wind? And I said, okay. So they sent Mark Tallman and I off to Iowa. This is a picture of me in Iowa. We climbed the tower. Mark was the vice president in charge of doing all the financial junk. And we decided, okay, we're going to do it. We found some places to do wind turbines. And it was an adventure. And it was Mark and I at first. And then, you know, we got more and more people in the department, and certainly we didn't do the work. We would hire consulting firms and whatever. but it was interesting. We had, I remember one lonely night when they had said the first wind project we can do is this leaning juniper project. It's half built, we can build it, but we'll buy it out from under them. So we don't know anything about that. Merrill, go out there and check it out for us. So I went out to the leaning juniper plant, climbed some of the towers, looked at all the projects, looked at all their paperwork, all their stuff, and said, guess this looks good to me. And come on in. This looks good to me. So I went home, I put together a notebook, and the president of our company at this time was this intense character, you know. When he first came to work for our company, we all sat in a big room and you know, said, I'm Bill Furman, I'm the president, you know, and do you have any questions, and here's what I would like to see. Somebody raised their hand and said, what are the cultural differences between our old company and this new one that you guys have come in and taken us over? And I remember him saying, well, for one thing, our managers tend to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And he said, and I work 100 hours a week. And then after that, the next thing they put out was a grammar and spelling and punctuation guide, you know. I don't want no junk coming in my office. But he didn't say it, guys. I don't want any junk coming in my office. It's got to be tidy and perfect and everything, you know, and we were just all in fear. So I had put together all this paperwork for Leaning Juniper. I didn't know how we wanted to see it. I was trying to figure out, you know, how do I even get this approved? We haven't done this. There's nobody asked questions of. So I put together this notebook, and I had handwritten the tabs. You know, here's the contract that's signed. Here's the you know, turbine completion certificates that are signed. Here's this work and the permits. You know, and I just said, okay, Mr. Chairman, nobody's here to really tell me how to do this. But I think if I put my work together like this and bring it back to you in a few days, will that be about right? He said, let me see it. And he thumbed through my tabs, and he said, how much is it? I said, 187 million. He said, give it to me, let me sign it. And I'm like, you're kidding. Okay, there you go. Go tell him we bought the plant. So it was, I mean, it's really crazy, but it was like that. I have my signature on so many $100 million things, just saying, okay, let's do it. I think it's the best thing to do. Anyway, so that was a fun adventure. We did build Leaning Juniper, we built about 100 turbines there, Marengo, Goodnoe Hills, Glen Rock, 7 Mile Hill, Rolling Hills, High Plains, all while I was there. I don't think there's anybody in the country that's built more wind turbines than I have. No. I mean, when I say I build them, I was kind of lead electrical and from there to ground to finish. I mentioned Leaning Junipers in Oregon, the other Goodnoe and Marengo in Washington, the rest are in Wyoming. So we did lots of them. Anyway, it's been a great privilege. Thank you for paying my wages all those years. I have to show you these boots. These are my lovely Georgia Giant boots. They aren't worn very much because I'm mostly a white-collar worker, but the thing I like about these boots, I call them my $2 billion boots, because they've walked me in and out of $2 billion worth of your investments from day one when there's nothing but dirt and the landowner to finish when we turn the switch on and let it roll. So anyway, thanks for your support. Well, this is wonderful. You guys are so nice all the time.
It's impressive.
Good.
You've got a great mind.
I had a lot of fortunate experiences here. Did some good things.
Many more good ones to come.
something new to come. Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody eat. Enjoy.